everyone, how's it going? I have finished the knee and I've started on the ankle, and then I lied yesterday about the number of joints I had left to build. We have left to build because there's 2 joints in the toes. So I have 3 joints left on the exoskeleton right now. Let me show you what I got. It's pretty cool. Alright guys, so here we are. Here's the full body, and as you can tell, there's a leg on there. So the leg is actually the leg. So if we're talking in medical terms, leg, shank, and then I've started on the foot. This is the first joint of the foot. So it's the interface between the leg and the foot. So now let's flip over here and I'll show you kind of what we got going on. So here we are with the leg. So here you can see I have it here, still pink for some reason. I'm not sure why I'm pink. It's weird. But anyway, here we go. So there's this joint right here. I haven't put the joint limits in there yet. Let me do that real quick. Okay, I didn't put one on this one because I don't really have an actual stop for that one yet, but we'll get there eventually. So if I come in here and I drive this joint here, you're going to see that, ooh, maybe, there we go, yeah, there. So it bends like this, so it actually wouldn't get quite up to 90, get up to about 75 and hit and stop right about there. Probably, depending on how the leg is oriented, this might be, no, this is always going to hit, yeah. One thing I've thought about here is this thing is the part that moves. And so if you remember from yesterday's video, or I guess 2 videos ago, because I went fishing yesterday, but I put this part going up because that allows this to slide, because it allows this not to have to be a slider joint yet still be supported and come down. But what I think I need to do is I think I need to bring this down, and instead of it, so this is what I call the base piece. So this piece and these pieces with the actual like loops in them are the base pieces, and then these are like the sliders that go on them. So this is going from so this is coming down, attaching to the base piece right here, and then that base, or that slide, I'm sorry, this is coming down, attaching into the slider piece right here, and then the base piece slides around. That's the part that's kind of actually moving if you were keeping the hip as your like reference point, right? So this is moving relative to the hip, and then this comes down and then attaches back into the base. The problem is that as you twist this out, and maybe I can just show you here. Let's see. So as I twist this out, this comes over and starts to touch into my body right here. You see that? So I think I think that's an issue. So what I think I need to do on the next one is, instead of bringing this from base to base, is bring this from base to slider. Or, no, so I was confused. I was saying that wrong. But I need to bring the base to base and have the slider move down to the knee joint, right? Does that kind of make sense what I'm saying? So this sliding piece right here needs to be fixed essentially, or this base piece needs to be fixed essentially up here, so it's only moving a little bit with this upper piece and not moving as much because it's also moving again down here. Does that make sense? So the motion of internal and external rotation of the foot is broken up between these 2 joints, and that the reason for that, again, I've said this many times, is that you can make these wider and so they have more stability. If I just had one of these and I had the same sweep in here, this would have to be like almost no sweep, right? Does that kind of make sense? So this would have to be this part right here. If there's just one of them, would be like this big. It would be really unstable. So by having 2 pieces, that's what makes it stable. So, but I'm trying to figure out obviously the best way to get the most range of motion, the most functionality out of this thing with these 2 working together. And I think the way to do that right now is to have the base piece move on the upper one, and then have the base piece attached to the base piece, and have the slider piece come down and slide and attach to this knee joint here. If you look up in here, you'll see that this right here is going into this face right here, which is the face of the slider joint. See how it got blue? That's what I'm talking about. So that needs to be reversed. The other thing I think I want to do is, if you look here at this knee part that's bent right here, you see how this comes out and then these struts come down and they're bent so they can go right into the middle of this ring. I think that's how I want to do that everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean here, here, and then also over here on if we look at the full body really quick, also up here on the shoulder. That's how I built all of those pieces. But if you like look in here, and the reason for that is if we zoom in on this ring here, this has to come straight across here, and it makes it to where there's not as much, and same here, see how this has to come up and stick out into this cavity, and that makes it so there's less room in that cavity, and I'm trying to run exomuscles through that cavity. So I think, and all, other stuff too, like wiring and all kinds of shit, and having that, sharp metal in there sticking out and lowering the area in there, I think is a bad idea. So I'm going to get rid of those 3 things. I'm going to change those 3 points, this piece right here, both on the superficial and on the deep. They're the same. And then the one up here. Those are all going to be changed to struts, kind of like the way this is working right here. Boom. And also how it's also the same way this works up in here. It's a little bit more complicated up here, but there's that. And then so what I have left to do on the leg right now is thunder. Anyway, what I have left to do on the leg right now is I need to add 2 struts across the front of the knee here, and that'll keep the knee locked at the front so it can't hyperextend out the other way. And then there needs to be a lock and key mechanism also coming off of that. That'll come from this rotational joint down here. So there's going to be a lock that comes up from... I didn't show you guys this rotational joint. Oops, let me show you this really quick. So this right here. So this is what I'm talking about too. This makes sense. So this right here allows for internal and external rotation of the knee. Only when your knee is bent. This is how your foot works. If you don't believe me, take your foot and straighten it out all the way, and then you can move your foot, but all the rotation will come from your hip. So this is my arm, but imagine it was my leg. All the rotation will come from your hip. But then if you bend your leg, you get another degree of freedom loosens up because your knee is not locked out. So when your knee locks out, it gets really stuck together, and it's essentially attached to your femur. But then when it bends, it allows it to spin on its own, if that makes sense. So this degree of freedom actually goes away in your body when your leg is straight. So there's going to be, like I was saying, a key is going to come up from that ring that spins, and it's go up over here into the knee and come up into that. There's going to be a strut that comes across, and that's where the key is going, or that's where the lock is going to be. So the lock is going to be here, and they're just going to be like triangles, and then the key is going to come up and fit into the lock like that. So I have to do that, I have to add that, and I have to add the struts that come across here to make that more stable, and I need to do the joint here. So right now, this joint right here will allow you to move your foot side to side, pronate and supinate your foot. You really don't have a huge range of motion on that movement, which is fine, but that right there, and I might actually be able to make these a little smaller now that I'm looking at them. They probably don't need to be that wide since there is such a small range of motion, so I could probably get this a little bit smaller. And then they're going to come across like this, and there's going to be a hinge joint on the side going straight through the foot this way, and that's going to allow you to point plantar flex and dorsiflex, that's what it's called. Plantar flex and dorsiflex your foot, like that. And then off of that, there's going to be a ring that comes around and fits all the way around the foot, and that's going to be resting on the same material I made the shoe sole out of. So the suit will actually support itself onto the ground. And then there's going to be 2 more joints, one here for the toes and then one here for the big toe. And they'll kind of work in between. There'll be like a slit in between, like a ninja shoe, and so you'll get a little bit of dual motion. At least that's the plan right now. I could make it go straight across. The problem is each of your joints are on a different of your foot are on a different axis of rotation. None of the axes are actually straight up with each other. So if you were really doing this right, you would have to do some like toes that came across, some exotoes that came across each one for that. That's not going to happen on this one. Maybe on a future suit, but not going to happen on this one. So that's where we're at, and there's really not that much left to do. I'll finish it tomorrow. So there, I'll finish the lock, the key, and then 1, 2 joints, and then I'm done. Well, and then I mean, kind of finish out this third one. I'm like halfway done with that joint. But yeah, guys, we're getting pretty close. It's cool. Hey guys, storm setting in as you heard the thunder earlier. I'm done for the day. Didn't quite finish the entire thing, but I got a pretty decent chunk done today. I'm not feeling super great. I'm thinking I'm worried I might be getting a little bit of a cold. I haven't had a cold in like a long time. And I really hope I'm not, because I'm so close to finishing the suit. It'd be really annoying to get a cold and not like just drag out the last like part of the foot. Hopefully that won't happen. I'm going to try to rest today, drink a bunch of water, probably go to bed early. I took a nap today. I haven't taken a nap in so long. Woke up, just drool all over my pillow. I'm like, damn, I slept hard, and I slept in this morning too. So there's maybe something going on. I don't know, but we're getting really close on this thing, man. The foot is really going to come together, and I think you guys are going to get a good idea of what I mean by the suit like being supported by the ground. That's a really cool thing. I want you to really think about it and imagine how it would feel to walk in that, to walk around a piece of metal that's completely moving around you, right? It's all completely joined around you, and it's supporting all its own weight to the ground. It'll feel very alien and weird, like nothing anyone's ever done or built before, which is true. No one's ever done anything like this before, so it's pretty fucking cool. So if you're watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. We're almost there. We're really almost there with the frames, and then we got to move on, and I need to start working on the exomuscle anchors and the skin so that I can do force testing on that and kind of get that figured out and make sure it seems sort of feasible what I'm trying to do. And then May or may not fuck with the support on this model because I think it may just end up being kind of a nuisance. We'll see. I have a pretty good idea of how to do the support. It's just kind of mostly busy work of actually building it. We'll see. I might do it sorted and round it off. I don't know. And then we have like, the goal is to do one more draft. That's the idea right now, is just to do one more draft, learn everything I learned, like those parts I talked about, like removing those, the struts and stuff like that, doing that, and then that'll be the one we build, hopefully, draft 4, hopefully. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. Hit the subscribe button.
Peace.